Quarantine is a rabies zombie horror movie. Okay, so I started Rec off with like how Rec is shouting out quarantine. Now, pay attention to this cover. The movie that basically stole word for word, scene for scene, isn't shouting out the movie that they stole from. This movie is just a shameful movie in my eyes. Also, if you want to know the plot of this movie, it's the same plot to Rec. Just watch my Rec review. Yeah, so we're not even going to get into anything. The only difference between Quarantine and Rec is about demonic possession, and this is about a rabies virus that basically turns you into a zombie. That is literally basically the only thing they changed. There was one part that they added with the guy trying to escape and getting shot. Besides that, I mean, this is a copy and paste. How there's not lawsuits? I just maybe they thought, oh, it's flattery or something, and they're like, like copying somebody that's like the ultimate form of like flattery or whatever, and maybe like they got permission to do it from the people that made Rec. I honestly don't know, but this is just a crazy it's not a remake, it's not a remastered, it's just a copy and paste because what, you can't read subtitles? I don't really understand it because yeah, there was some things that they made better, which was very little, but ultimately it wasn't the better movie. So they copy and pasted and had like everything set out for them and still made a worse movie, which is just incredible to me. Also, this is just basically the review. Usually I do a little shout out and just got straight into it because honestly this shit kinda, it pisses me off in a sense because I need answers. I try to look it up and I just get debates on people who think like, is Rec better or Quarantine better? It's always Rec's better. Nobody's on Quarantine side because it's just not better. I mean, that's facts. The end of Quarantine is just a ball drop, and yeah, basically the end of this one, they go upstairs and it's like rats and rodents and shit, and that's what kind of made Rec cool because it was like this demonic shit, and you unlocked more lore. You actually find out what's happening. So it's like when they're going through all the newspapers and shit, you're like finding out what's happening. Like you're unlocking more of the story through like investigative journalism. I don't know. While in this one, they just kind of like skim through some paperwork and they're like throwing it everywhere in Quarantine, not really telling you anything. But it was like some cult shit or whatever. I don't even know. But nonetheless, in Rec, they play the recorder and it's actually lore. It's them or a dude talking and it's giving you more information. Just shit like that. It was just really well done. And for some reason, they just have some like wishy-washy demonic shit playing on the recorder in Quarantine. Like it wasn't even words. Didn't really make sense. And then they end up getting to the final enemy, the big creature thing, and it just doesn't even remotely look as good as the Rec one. The Rec one was just terrifying, while this one was still kind of terrifying, but dumbed down for some reason. Didn't really get that. And also, the drag away just wasn't as good. Ultimately, honestly, they're so lucky that they just copy and pasted an insanely good horror movie because if they tried to do their own original ideas, man, I just don't have faith. I should look up like the director and the producer and the writers of Quarantine and see what other projects they worked on because honestly, to literally have the foundation in a movie you can just watch over and over and study and not make it better almost at all is in itself some kind of feat. Like that's impressive but bad impressive. Like, man. And honestly, like, the acting wasn't horrible. I did like the girl, the news reporter lady, but like the cop wasn't as good as the cop in Wreck. Like, some of the acting wasn't even as strong as Wreck. So I mean, I don't know. Like, geez, Louisiana, right? You hate to see it. So my recommendation to Quarantine, and they're so lucky that this movie is still good because it is just copying an insanely good horror movie, like I said. So I'm not gonna I would not recommend Quarantine at all, just because it literally is, to me, stealing. But I don't know the whole story behind it yet, so I don't know. It's not stealing if the people who made Wreck said, "Yeah, you can literally copy our movie." I don't know why you would do that, but whatever. I would kind of recommend this though, because it's still insanely good, because it's a copy of an insanely good horror movie. I mean, it's not insanely good, it's good, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Just I would never recommend something someone stole, but I mean, it's not bad, so I wouldn't not recommend it, if that makes sense.